What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today's progress, yesterday's plan. We're on episode 12, and I have a very special guest with me today, my little big bro, Franco here.
What's up?
How you doing, man?
Chilling.
Cool.
Just glad to have you in my garage, actually.
Yeah, I'm really excited actually because he's not just a guest on the podcast, but I'm a guest in his home studio today. So really quick, just tell us where we're at and what we set up here.
So it's, a bit too much to call it a home studio. We're literally in my garage, workbench in the back. I set up a couple of my lights. I'm pretty excited. I just got a new softbox, so this is the first time using it. Some new audio gear that I have, and just a bit of stuff I've been collecting over the years. So I'm excited to finally put it into use for one reason or another.
Well, I want to say that, to give a little bit of background on my brother and what he does. First of all, I'm really proud of you. I'm proud of the work you do. Franco is what's your exact title?
I am the VP of Creative at a PR and marketing agency, Con Media for the plug.
Cool. There you go. One of, if not like the top automotive PR companies out there. I've had my time in Con Media with you when we worked together, and your
you
position.
still work on some projects with us, so that's pretty rad to get some editing done, shooting done. So it's cool.
And what's it like working in the automotive PR world for those watching?
Oh man, it's one of those things that if you're not into it, if you're not in it, it will kind of just like any job, it becomes a job. But I mean, if you're into the subject matter, which in this case is cars, and in this case we kind of grew up being in that scene, it's like it definitely has its perks because not only for knowing the right people in the industry to get a deal or anything like that, but it's like being on shoots in the industry. I've been to really some of the coolest places that I've ever been to in my life. It's like I've been everywhere from the Grand Canyon to Moab. I've seen more national parks while on the clock than I have just on vacation. These take me to, I think the last time I counted was something like 16 states in the US and 3 countries overseas. And that's all on the clock. That's all stuff that, people pay to do. And here I am collecting a paycheck and getting to see all these rad things.
Dope. And that's why it's pretty appropriate to be here in the garage here with the bro. I thought that was really cool in his setup. Touching on that, tell me a bit about what the pandemic has done for the industry that you're in, working from home, and now more appropriately setting up a studio here.
The pandemic has it's been it was an interesting challenge, right? It's normally people are used to obviously buying stuff online to a certain extent. I think when you start getting into high dollar things, or even just things that are more aesthetic, everyone's used to going to a store and picking it up, and everything is now just online, and it's strictly online. So for us, it was helping clients go from events, talking to their customers at events and talking in person, to all of a sudden now we have to transition the whole strategy to an online virtual strategy. And that was a challenge that I think we did a pretty good job at facing for the client, but then we also had to face that challenge for ourselves in our own structure, in our own office, and it's worked out pretty awesome. I mean, we have a core group of us that still has to go on a shoot sometimes once in a while, and we're safe about that. Everyone has to wear masks and keep distance, and it's not something that happens all that often, but we've also been able to expand our own reach because of the pandemic, and we learned that working in a wider network is possible now because of things like Zoom and virtual conferencing and just more communication via email. Well, sometimes that's too much communication via email, but you have to find the balance. But now I have I have someone on my team in Philadelphia. I have someone on my team in Texas. And that's all possible. And we wouldn't have even attempted that had it not been for this pandemic. So it forced us to grow, and growing was a good thing.
Yeah, that's crazy because I see. I've personally been working remotely pre-pandemic probably for 2 to 3 years now, and so I kind of saw how that transition was going in that direction. But like you said, like the pandemic totally forced us to go into like the digital world. And what I was gonna ask you is, like, what are some of those, maybe a success story or something? Because you that have gone to a lot of conventions, go to a lot of events. I know now I'm doing virtual events, being like virtual wine tastings, or like conventions are just going all virtual. Do you think it has like a positive thing where, like you said, reach way more people, or do you think it's still an adjustment happening there? What have you seen?
I think it's both. I think it's like a pendulum swing where all of a sudden we're all event, all in person based, and then all of a sudden we have to like force this shift where we're all virtual based. And as things start to, I want to say, normalize, or go back to the way it was before, there's going to be an in between. There's always going to be people that are going to be diehards that want to go to the event, that need to be out there and like to be able to touch things. And there's still going to be people that have reservations and are going to want a more remote experience. So it's going to be a combination of the two for sure. But I mean, there's success in both camps. I'm not going to name drop clients or anything, but it's like we did a couple virtual launches for a manufacturer that released a new bike. And we went out, we interviewed several of the team members that designed and developed the bike, and we put it all together with resources provided by them, by us, and then we hosted a live panel at the end of it as well, and it all turned out super well. Everyone was very happy with it, and now it looks like we're looking at more projects with them. So it's one of those things where you get together with teams that know what they're doing and know how to grow and want to grow and are open to the ideas, and you make it happen.
I like that you said want to grow and like embracing those changes, and really, I mean, that's when people start pioneering things and start like doing cool things that are maybe out of the box, but now are more accepted versus like trying it again pre-pandemic, like the whole Zoom call. Like, I don't know what other technologies that have been out prior to the pandemic, but it's not a new thing, but it's still new now because a lot of people, have to pick it up. We were at the bank today, and the lady made a comment like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait till we like go back to normal." And in my head, I was like, "We ain't going back to normal. There's gonna be a new norm." But I'm excited for, like, of course, to come out of this and like the public health issue at hand. But new things are happening. Companies are changing their dynamic. More opportunities are ahead of us. I think it's just being able to recognize like those things.
Yeah, and that said, anyone that invested in Zoom at the beginning of this thing is sitting pretty.
And a lot of investing stuff. I mean, right now with the whole like stock market stuff, I think everybody's like looking for different things to invest in and come up with new. I don't know, like right
if
now.
If you can't go to the casino, you look for something to gamble on.
Damn, and it's crazy because it totally feels like that. I mean, we've been kind of dabbling in that. It's kind of exciting, and when your stuff's up, but when it's down, it's like it's just as exciting because you hope for the turnaround. What I was about to ask you sometimes like on the podcast and stuff, I totally lose like my train of thought, and I'll be like, and
that's
looking
just part
at
of a conversation.
No, totally. What kind of ideas do you have as far as the way you see the future coming or in the norm? Or you were just asking me, and we were talking about like the 3D printers and stuff. So like slowly poking at different things like on social media that we see. Like 3D printing is really cool. Another thing that's been out for a long time, and your comment the other day was like, dang, did you guys know like 3D printers were so cheap?
Yeah, they're cheap now. It's like I was under the impression that 3D printers, you're looking at like a couple grand just to get started. And then one of my friends actually in Houston, he got one And he's been showing me some of the stuff he's been working on. I was like, damn, that's like pretty cool. I want to start making my own things.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what are you using? Just like out of curiosity, making conversation. I just want to see. Like, I like seeing what everyone else is using. And then when he showed me, I finally just looked it up on Google, and that thing was like $250.
Yeah.
And the resin, or it's not resin, it's filament. That particular one uses filament. That's only like $50 or $60 too. So for $300, you're in and you're making things. And I'm assuming most people have a computer or a PC that runs these things. And
yeah, kind of like the plotter we used to run. It's like easy software that just.
It's the same thing. You could get heads for it, and you can like etch in wood, etch in like different things. So it's like a laser head. So it's cool, man. There's I don't know exactly what it is I want to start making, or maybe I do, but I just want to start making things. It's like I have, we got all the tools from our dad, right? And it's like I just want to start making things and use everything. So 3D printing is another medium to start making things in.
And I think the dynamic of how like we are right now in the work from home situation gives a lot of opportunities to like try new things, trying to like being here in a studio. Like I'm sure you're, in the studio, I say, but like you think of things like you were saying, I just want to record something. It's like, dude, right now it's like literally lit a fire under my butt to just start like doing stuff. So like I've been putting my studio back at home together and like trying to be on a mission to like just put out regular content. And it's like that, like trying to think of an idea to do something and put it out. Speaking about the 3D stuff, I saw a really cool thing several years ago of a I don't even know if it was like a company. It was this dude that he started a recycling business where you could bring in your bottles and plastics, and he had these like cool machines and like a little chemistry setup where they would break it down into oils and extract and make the filaments out of recycled plastic.
Oh, that's pretty rad.
And then he had the 3D machine, so you could come in and either buy stuff that they made, plates, cups, forks, or little things, or you could come in with a design, bring in bottles and like recycle stuff. And I was like, dude, that's pretty dope. Like sustainability ideas are crazy. Like just, I don't know, I think of like these kids in Mexico, like these scientists won an experiment, and they were making like fake leather, but out of cactus, like nopales and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was like legit, and it's like, I don't know, I always...
Especially with sustainability right now, I think about it because, we're in the time of stay at home and everyone's ordering stuff off Amazon. I live here with the 3 girls, and man, everything's on Amazon. So every day there's like 1 or 2 boxes. And
no, literally every day. Like I've been here 3 days, and every day, like twice, at least once a day, the doorbell's like just packages. I even had stuff dropped off here before I got here, like send stuff.
But I mean, it's like, dude, where is all that cardboard coming from, and where is it going?
Yeah.
If someone's finding out how to reuse it, that's awesome. Let us know.
But there's like programs of like you could either, there's a lot of donation programs that Amazon does, like throw stuff back in the box and send it other places, which I imagine once it gets there, I don't know what happens to the box. But they do like programs like building stuff for your kids, like costumes. And I'm working on a really cool project, an educational project. It's in Mexico that we've been launching, but it's like in 3 other countries. It's called World Challenge Club, and it's for the the stay-at-home education. A lot of kids don't have access to like fast internet or even computers, so it's working with the broadcast stations to have educational channels that are 24/7, running educational programming. For kids that are at home to do that. But the specific program I'm working with is a TV show that has like a online club for those that are able to connect and like do challenges. And it reminds me of my childhood, which is why I'm really working on this project with them, is like taking household activities to learn physics, science. It works with STEM, for those of you that know what the STEM education is, science, technology, engineering, and like mathematics. They added arts into it, so it's STEAM now. But it's like,
I was like STEMA? No, STEAM sounds better.
And it's like making bridges, right? And knowing like the capacity of design of bridges and how much weight they can hold. And it's like, all right, it's cardboard. So like kids from, man, like little towns that you see that don't have like access to internet, it's like putting like things together, and it's, you know, take rice, take beans, take rocks or foil paper. And I remember when we were kids, like I would, like we were in the GATE program, remember?
Oh yeah.
And like I remind, it's similar to that where it's like cool experiments. But I remember coming home and like just being stoked off of like making things, and it's like I'm gonna make more things at home, and like pulling, you know, paper towel rolls or something.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where I am now. Like, I'm happy this is the first time I've had a garage in over 10 years, really. So I was super excited to finally get this bench together, and I literally cleaned it up because you were coming, and, you know, it kicked me in the butt to get it done, but it's like I have all the tools. It's like one of the dogs is getting older, so I made like a little step for her to get up onto the bed. She won't freaking use it, but, you know, I was proud that that I made it. It's like she walks up to it, looks at it, and whatever. That's it defeated the purpose of me making it, but I made it.
No,
so
yeah,
it's like
totally.
I want to keep making things.
Yeah. What's something right now that you are looking forward to make right now?
I want to learn how to, I guess, machine a little bit. And by that, it's just like drilling and tapping, threading my own metals and stuff like that. So if I have anything I want to put attachments on.
But do you have a specific project right now that you want to like make a certain thing? Or you were telling me a pull-up bar the other day. I mean, have you like...
Oh, that. Yeah, I could talk about a pull-up bar.
Well, I mean, like, what would you work on? What would you make?
So
you got all the tools.
So, you know, I'm into shooting. I have a shotgun, so it's like I want to put an optic on it. So it's like I could send it to the gunsmith, but do I really want to package my shotgun up, put it in the mail, wait 3 weeks, and then get it back? And I don't know if you know, but there's like this thing with like FedEx where if it goes to a certain facility, it's probably gone. But anyway, so I don't want to deal with that. So I'm going to take it, put it on my bench, and, you know, hopefully not screw it up.
Yeah, that's the fun part too, is like hoping that you don't like screw up. Like recently I just soldered some LED strips, like little small job, but I haven't done soldering since like literally sixth grade, when I was making like hydraulic cars, whatever. So I had to like solder the wires, but man, it was small, and I was actually kind of nervous to like do it and be like, okay, but I might screw it up and then screw the strips up. But it feels good when like you're making stuff and then it works. Like you said, I want to make more stuff. Like I want to like do other things. I'm in an apartment right now, so it's like I wish I had a garage, like doing stuff. When I was at Dad's, cleaning like the garage and stuff and all the tools, like, man, just like holding tools and you know what they're for and what you could do, you just start thinking like, dude, I want to do this. Like I bought woodworking classes online, like there's all kind of like digital education now, right? So I was like, oh dude, that looks dope. I think I could. And I bought like woodworking classes, like furniture. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go to the garage and do that, timing wise. And then I wasn't out here that long enough, so I didn't get around to actually making the projects. But yeah, I was just like looking for stuff to make. And
well, it's like all that stuff's here now. I have the lathe in there. There's already some pieces of wood cut attached with like markers and like centered. So while you're here,
yeah,
let's do something.
Let's do your pull-up bar.
I'm down for that.
Because he has the rings. You guys know I've been talking about calisthenics and different workouts. So like he got some rings too, but he has no pull-up bar or where to hang them. So I was like, oh man, I came out here ready with like my notebook. Like let's keep working out. So I think before I leave, we gotta set something up.
Probably hang it in here.
Totally.
Just have to push my car out every time I use it.
When's your car going to be on the road again?
I don't know. I'm waiting on a couple of things I need to finish up, and then I need to redo not the vacuum, but the evap systems in the car, so I could take it to a state referee and have them just do it right.
Did you already ref it before though?
I haven't refed the car, so I was always gambling with my life.
Tell like what car are we talking about?
I have an E30. It's one of the early ones, so it's an 85. Still has the big metal bumpers on it. It was my first car actually.
That's the cool part about it.
Yeah, if not, it's just any other old BMW, but it's my first car. Um, and through the industry, I was able to get a little help getting a couple projects on it started. And I mean, that's the cool part, and that's the curse of it, right?
He
Where
says
it's
a
like,
couple projects, but like the car's been completely. I mean, what hasn't been done? The tires and
okay,
wheels.
so everything, yeah, that's actually
Yeah,
tires, wheels, and brakes.
is what's left to like.
That's the only thing that I haven't touched yet. Um, but it's like I worked on an engine swap, and I had someone that worked at one of the distributors at the time, a friend of, like, he became a friend, and it started out because of work, relationships that way. But he helped me out putting stuff together for refreshing the motor that I was using for an engine swap. Um, so then once that was done, swapped the engine, swapped the transmission. So now it's a 5-speed. It was an automatic before. And, drove it around like that for a little while and made another friend at a different company. So another relationship through the industry. And he wanted to get into reproduction seats for, or not some were reproductions, but some were restoration seats for 70s and 80s European cars. And I'm like, hey, I have a couple sets of seats just sitting in my apartment at the time, which was awesome. My apartment was full of parts all the time. Everyone loved it. But so I'm like, hey, I have a couple of those. I'll send them your way, and in exchange, send one set back. So he did. So I have a brand new interior for my car, and that's everything from carpet, seat, door panels, headliner, everything. But in order to do all that, obviously, I had to take it all out. So the car was bare. There was no window, no windshield in the front, back. Had to take the sunroof off, had to take all the carpet out. Everything was gone. So I'm like, well, damn, I'm never going to do this again. That's a lot of work. So I got it painted. And that, since I already did a lot of the prep work, our friend Lynn at JER, like he gave me a pretty killer deal on the paint as well, just because
He did the swap too, huh?
Yeah, he did the
He did
swap
a lot of
too.
hands on that car.
Yeah, so he's the only. I just had the 4Runner maintained, and it's a Toyota.
Yeah.
So I could take that anywhere. I could take that to friggin' Jiffy Lube, and they could figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's like, we've been going with Lynn for what, 15 years?
Damn.
So
Long
it's
time.
like he's the guy that works on my cars, even though it's an hour drive both
I was gonna
ways.
say we travel far just to go to JER. Yeah.
And it's like everyone's like, "Why do you go there? It's so far." I have a guy like down the street, and it's like, because I
He's not
trust
my
him.
guy,
Like,
yeah.
right. I could be like, I have this much money. I trust you. Spend that much money.
Yeah.
If it needs more or less, like, I believe you.
Yeah. Totally.
So it's cool. And if you don't have a mechanic like that, that sucks. Invest in a code reader, because there's some jokers.
Yeah, it's crazy about being able to trust your mechanics, because especially like in the car world, like things, domino effects, or things happen and like somebody could easily be like, well, that's not how it should have been, or it was working fine when I brought it. Like,
Right.
Yeah, but like things happen, especially with like builds like that or older cars, and it's great.
That's what that project has taken a long time, and it's been years in the making, and it's still not done.
Yeah.
And things happen to it, and it happens.
And it's cool that you have like that car, and then like you mentioned the 4Runner, you do stuff to the 4Runner too. You go camping a lot and overlanding and things like that.
I wouldn't say overlanding, but definitely.
I would.
Definitely,
Maybe not in yours, but like the
light
trips you go
off-roading.
on. Yeah. And your two-wheel drive 4Runner.
Hey man, that thing.
It's
I
not a
haven't
lot of
got stuck
places.
yet.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's funny too, since I use that as a camera car, because we built the rig for the tow hitch that mounts to the roof rack.
Yeah.
And
It's dope.
And like we throw a gimbal on the back of it and we could do like 90 and have some super steady shots and no one has to hang out the back of the 4Runner. You know, the guy's controlling it from the back seat. But it's like I laugh because that car has more track time than a lot of guys like project cars that sit in their garage. It has more track time than my BMW has road time since I've owned it, right? It's been on like Willow Springs and Thermal. It did a like little stint at Laguna, I think, one time.
Oh,
and
for
like,
real?
and like it's been in canyons being the camera car, so it's like I know that if there's
Do you have
ever
any
like
footage of the 4Runner doing his thing?
I wish I did, but like since the camera guys are always like
I know.
in the
That's what
4Runner,
happens.
like I don't.
And legit, like this camera rig that him and his friend made, like for it, it's sick. Like if you could picture, and if you're listening, it's like just imagine like aluminum bars across the whole back hitch, like from top to bottom.
We saved costs. It was steel bars.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Then it's gnarly, and you throw the gimbal on there, and
Well, it's
like
funny.
it's
It's like before all of the. I mean, the
it's
rush.
very valuable for shooting, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like, but it's the Russian arm was out at the time. But then, what's the other camera? Like the action camera that you can mount on a Razor and
Vector? No, the action camera.
it's not like a little action camera. It's like it has like the arm assembly and everything, but
Okay.
the shot over.
Okay.
It's like before that became like really well used. Like I already wanted that, and the only option was to go rent a Russian arm for 30 grand a day.
Yeah.
Not an option. So like I was sitting at the bar with my buddy, and like we start drawing on the napkin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, could you do this? Because he used to fabricate suspensions and roll cages for trophy trucks. So, I mean, that was
I guess you make another one, a
that
better
was
one.
Oh yeah, for sure. We always talked about doing version 2.0.
Yeah.
So we should actually make it happen now. But it's like it started from a napkin sketch.
Well, part of this podcast, today's progress, yesterday's plan, it started with me like for accountability, like to get in front of the camera, start talking and practicing, but also start putting like ideas out and speaking them out into the world, right? Because then you're accountable for it. Like you said it, so like who wants version 2.0 of that? Like shoot, do it. You said it right here, so we're gonna look out for it.
It's really funny actually, because we'll talk to different people because we're out on shoots, and we're usually out on shoots with like other engineer-minded people. So like,
for sure.
Oh man, you could throw like a shock right here, and it'll be adjustable with like reservoirs. So as you're like going off road or going faster, like it. So everyone has their ideas to add to it.
So you don't bring out your little black book and write those ideas down?
My black book's right here. I have a pretty good memory. So
cool. All right. Not true, but okay.
Hold on.
Do you remember
what were we
when
talking about?
See, you don't remember.
No, what were we talking about the other? Oh, we were talking about the pho place that was by our office, and I'm like, yeah, we used to walk there all the time. And
I didn't
order
remember.
that. And he's like, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't tell me I have a bad.
But that's not. I did remember when you described it a bit more. It came back, but it's because I'm not in that element anymore. Even though you're not there anymore, it's still part of your cycle of life right there.
Right.
But I did remember. But well, we're coming close to the end or whatever, because this is a 30-minute show, and I try to stay on it, and we're here every Friday. I'm excited to have had Frankie on here. Thanks for coming. I hope we could do it again. And I want to look forward to the version 2, because like he said it here. So hopefully if you do decide to do that and set up your workshop and do that, maybe we could like do something with that.
I'll have to set it up and show some of the video in action. I've always wanted to do that actually, is just take it off road and like follow with a drone. And I mean, though it won't look as cool as like a Russian arm, but
no, but it's still dope. Like, and it's dope to have your guys's like behind the scenes of you guys. I was looking at your gear. I told you yesterday, like your sweatshirts and stuff, and I saw one that I really liked. That was like something pitch shoot something. What was it?
I forget. I wear it. I represent
it. Yeah, it's for your for the company. It was the company sweaters, pitch shoot post. And it's like, yeah, you think like you guys got to like step back and like show all your work. I know you guys are working on some stuff to like recently, but I'm excited for that to see what you guys do. It's an exciting world that you're in. So congratulations, you've done well, and like I'm always glad to work with you guys.
I mean, you
like
opened the door for me anyway, so.
No, but it's like we all follow our own path, and it's like it's dope. I congratulate you for that. Again, thanks for coming. Love you, bro. That's my little bro, my little big bro. And for you guys watching, stay tuned for next week. I think this is pretty cool because I'm out in Cali now, so I'm not in my home studio. So again, my guest today, I'm a guest in his studio, and I look forward to do more like that. So if you have a studio, you want to be on the podcast, I'm looking forward to have Michael Serrano on. He's setting up his home office now as well as we speak. So hopefully in the next week or so, we're at his place checking it out. And yeah, leave your comments below. And any last shout outs before we close out here?
I think I'm thirsty and ready to go get a drink. Grab a bite to eat.
Same here. That's where we'll leave it. Catch you guys next week. Peace.